5 weeks down, 5 weeks to go. We are back for the Hive Esports Teamfight Tactics Series, week number 6, here on twitch.tv/Hive Esports Games. I'm Will, your lead commentator. Alongside me is George,
Hi.
casting this week's action for the Hive Esports Teamfight Tactics Series. The fight for second place is hotting up a lot, with Newt Silver streaking off into the lead. We had some new winners as well. Last week, George, what was your highlight from week number 5?
Well, Steph finally getting that win. Absolutely incredible. It was very clutch as well. I'm pretty sure he was pretty low health. The same with Pasta Lover as well, I believe. So, after those two defeats last week, it's nice to see some redemption.
Definitely, and that brings the points fight ever closer. We'll have a quick reminder that'll come up on your screen here momentarily. The points as we finish week number 5. We are at the halfway stage of the series. Newt Silver leads the way with 3 wins and 68 points to her name, 16 points ahead of Pasta Lover, who just about takes second place away from Jai, who's on 51 points, also on 3 wins. Steph, our most recent new winner, takes 4th. Coco Slayer and Patat just 1 and 2 points respectively behind them. That covers your top 6. Retro on 32 points, extra thick in 8th on 25. Mr. Mango on 19 points in 9th, and then 10th is Nicotine on 7. Kami on 6 points. Mint TM Mini Legend tied for 12th on 5 points, and Ty, yet to make an appearance, sits in 14th place. George, you want to quickly take us over the bonus points? A little bit different than they were last week.
Yeah, so the bonus points are practically the same in the way they work. So, you will gain bonus points for gaining a prismatic trait. You'll gain 2 points for a prismatic trait. Jesus Christ. A prismatic trait, and you'll gain an additional point if it is the soul fighter trait. Now, we didn't get any soul fighters last week, so we're carrying on to this week. If you get a 3-star 4 cost, that'll be 1 point, and a 3-star 5 cost will be an additional 3 points. And you will also gain points, an additional point, if the 4 cost 3-star is Jarvan, Rise, Leona, or Poppy.
So just encouraging a little bit of variety in the comps that we see. A lot of Soul Fighter, a lot of Battle Academia, typically the most popular choices. As we're coming actually to the end of the current TFT set 15, I believe. We're on set 16 coming out soon. So that should make the end of the season a little bit more interesting, a new set for everyone to learn as we get towards the business end of the season. But as we take a look at the leaderboard here, George, of course, Newt Silver does lead the way. Anyone else standing out to you in particular?
Ooh, well, Pasta Lava, obviously, doing great. Again, first couple of weeks didn't do very well, but then started just popping off out of nowhere, which is absolutely incredible. So, still a contestant to look out for. And Jai, although missed 1 or 2 weeks, still up there, so still a contender to, again, keep an eye out for.
Definitely, a lot of these guys at the top, very consistent, and they're keeping themselves in the fight. Newt Silver definitely streaking away. She's been the most consistent. She's coming up on your screen now. 68 points, as we mentioned. 16 points ahead of Pasta Lover in second place. 3 wins on the season, which is, of course, tied for the most. But even when she hasn't been winning, she's been getting top 3 finishes, top 4 finishes, really favouring that Kog'Maw Bastion / Protector comp there. We've seen Kog'Maw be a very, very strong unit for a lot of players, but Newt Silver's been really been able to get the most out of that unit. Is that the sort of composition you expect to be at the top of the leaderboard?
Yeah, as you mentioned, Kog'Maw with either a Bastion, Protector, Heavyweight, it's so flexible. It's very difficult to contest. So yeah, not overly surprised it's up there. But yeah, as we saw the first few weeks, Newt Silver played that Kog'Maw comp a lot, but has slightly shifted towards more of a Prodigy, Heavyweight, Malzahar carry comp. So yeah.
Definitely something to look out for, of course. She hasn't won in quite a while. She didn't win at all in week 5. That was, of course, Steph in game 1, Pasta Lover in week 2. But she's remained consistent all the same, still managed to extend her points lead just a little bit at the end of week 5. So definitely probably the most consistent at the moment. Do you think anyone's going to be able to topple her at the minute? She's got such a big points lead that mathematically, unless someone really rakes in the bonus points, she'll stay in the lead no matter what. At the end of this week, she's almost got it, almost got that first place safe if there were only a few less weeks. So do you think anyone has anything for her?
Well, if we keep seeing these games from Steph, obviously Steph might be able to, you know, keep getting up there and keep gaining those points. But yeah, other than that, Pastelava maybe and Jai, but still yet to see people with these bonus points. So there is still all to play for at the moment.
Definitely. Bonus points proving difficult to get at this point in the season, but of course they can be all pivotal. As mentioned, many players separated by just 1, 2, or 3 points. Newt Silver very far ahead, but also hasn't got any bonus points for herself. It's simply those consistent results. But we're going to quickly take some time. We're going to do some picks, some predictions
Okay.
for game day. So we've got 2 games. Can you pick the winner for both games for me, George? Maybe go a little out there.
Ooh, what do I win if I win?
Oh, well, the B's for the champion, so the B's kind of off limits, unfortunately.
I want the B. I want the B.
You get bragging rights.
Oh, okay.
Because
Okay.
I'll make my own picks, and whoever is wrong looks like an idiot. Or we both look like an idiot.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Yeah.
I'm gonna play it safe, and I'm gonna say Steph is gonna get a win, and Newt Silver is also gonna get a win. What about you?
Good picks, good picks. I'm going to go different for you, but those are very good picks.
Yep.
I'll say Jai for game 1,
Yep. Okay.
Pastelava for game 2.
Okay. Okay.
All players who have won a game so far,
Yep.
at least once, but the competition's so tight, I think that it's not at all a bad choice to go for any of those 4.
Yeah. I mean, there's obviously the chance of someone else winning that hasn't won
Yeah.
yet, which would be amazing to see, because at the moment, again, it is those very consistent people in the top. So it would be great to see someone without a win get a win.
Definitely. I don't think Patat. I think Patat is someone else who's sort of. They haven't been at every game either. They're, I think, 6th in the points right now, but they do have a win. They haven't won though since week 1, all the way back at the start of the season. So it'll be interesting to see whether they can come back and potentially put in a late charge. We know that they're capable of winning. It's just about stringing together the consistent results, like the likes of Newt Silver and Jai have. I'm not sure exactly how long we've got until our first game, but with the sort of end of set 15 now, everyone will be fairly familiar with the set at this point. Obviously, we've had 10 games already with this set.
9 games.
9 games, you're right.
We missed that one game.
We had set revival in week 3, that is very correct. We've had 9 games, of course, had an entire season's worth of this set already. What are you expecting to see people trying to go for? Obviously, we know the popular comps, but do you think those bonus points are potentially going to have an influence on just how people build their teams?
Yeah, I mean, there have been a lot of people that have tried to gone for the bonus points. Like last week, there was a few people close, but not quite there. But we will see if anyone gets the bonus points in this game.
Definitely, and what a good transition that was. We are in the carousel for game number 1 of week 6 of the Hive Esports Teamfight Tactics series. Camera on Pastelava, game 2 winner from last week, currently sits 2nd in the series standings on just 52 points. As a reminder of your bonus points in the bottom right. If you get a Soul Fighter Prismatic trait, that's 3 points, but any Prismatic trait is good for 2 points. Get a 3-star 4 cost, that's 1 point. A 3-star 5 cost is 3 points. And if any of those units are a Jarvan, Ryze, Leona, or Poppy, there's an extra 3 points. Or an additional 1 point, I should say, for those 3-star units coming your way. So now have a look at Coco Slayer. This is a very early game, obviously no combat just yet, strictly PvE. Everyone looking for loots, goodies, and econ. And immediately, really difficult to tell just what comps people are going for, of course. Just some PvE fighting. This is probably the most neutral part of the game. No one really has a team yet. We don't know what anyone is even going for. A lot of these players probably don't know what they're going for just yet. This is strictly for loot and for econ. But
No,
if you were one of these players, just throw it out there, what comp would you potentially be looking for?
Ooh, well, like you mentioned, I'm probably like one of these players. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to be going yet. But that means there's lots of opportunities. There's lots of things I could go. Remain flexible.
Definitely.
Don't commit too early. Like Steph here. He likes that Wraith comp. If I'm not wrong, he's gone that Wraith comp the last few games he's played.
And it's worked for him.
True,
It's
true,
worked.
true.
The only issue that he might come up against is if those are contested at any point, which is
Yeah.
why it's good to stay
Yeah.
adaptable. If someone takes a unit that you need, or then you know that's where you have to be able to think on your feet. We've got some gold augment picks, a couple rerolls here for Steph. We'll see what they go for. Crimea River, Evil Beyond Measure, and Tower Defense. His choices.
Yeah. Crimea River definitely good if he's going Wraith, especially if he's going that Prodigy heavyweight comp. He'll definitely have to keep an eye on Newt Silver though, again, because that is a liked comp of Newt Silver. But this looks more of like a full Prodigy comp at the moment. But yeah, Crimea River giving me that additional mana and then additional mana in 15 seconds into the round as well.
That could be all important as we enter combat for the very first time. And our first fight of the evening is going to be Steph versus our little bot friend that we've got with just 7 players turning up. Araju is on the cards. First off for Steph, we'll see who can get the win here. Picks for both Steph and Araju. We'll see frontlines going at it. It is going to go the way of Araju. Now a 2v2 becomes a 2v1 in the favor of Steph. His backline doing particularly well there, and it will be the win for Steph to start off the game. Pastelova as well, winning with Retro and Araju. Losing out, Jai also wins his game, as does Patat. So Pastelova, Steph, Patat, and Jai, your winners from the first round of combat. Coco Slayer, Newt Silver, Retro, and Araju losing out. All of whom are on 96 points, Coco Slayer on 97, and then your winners still remain on 100 points. Steph looking particularly strong in that first round. Of course, hard to tell anything just yet, but that backline was able to put out some pretty good damage output when his front line did eventually fall.
Yeah. Patat here, looking like a heavyweight protector. Maybe looking for one of those Kog'Maw comps or Smolder. As we know, heavyweight protector, very good for that Smolder comp as it's pretty flexible. As Smolder and Kog'Maw do not need those traits, so just a good front line is all they need really.
We've now got Patat versus Retro here. We saw Newt Silver coming in, just taking a peek at what might be going on in the other battles, but Patat and Retro going at it now. Both players losing health at a rate of not a damage output looks strong for both sides. It's going to be Patat getting the first pick, unless Retro Scene can do something about it. It can't. We've now got a bit more fleshed up backline though for Retro. Do wonder if that can do anything, but it's a 3v2 in the middle of the park in the favor of Patat. Becomes a 2v2, a 2v1. Can Retro get the picks that he needs? He does. Turns the game around, and that will be a first win of the game for Retro and a first loss of the game for Patat. In fact, Pastelova, the only player so far to go 2 for 2. Everyone else with at least 1 loss.
Yeah, that shadow clone there, just giving Retro a little bit more extra damage, just to be able to take out that front line. But yeah, that round 2 power up on that Koboko, just extending the fight a little bit, but unfortunate for Patat. Retro just had a little bit more damage.
Damage output, all important at the moment. We've now got Retro versus Araju, as Araju currently 0-2, Retro 1-1 here. We'll see whether Retro can start to get a streak going. Araju might be looking for a loss here to help with their econ. We'll have to wait and see. With Retro immediately 2 picks off the bat in the middle of the battlefield here. Frontline looking particularly strong. It's 3, it's a 5v1, and that is going to be a clean sweep for Retro and a big points dent there for Araju, down to 87. Jai as well, the second loss, and Coco Slayer as well. Patat and Pastelova still duking it out with just 10 seconds to go, waiting to see who will take victory in that particular battle. It will be Pastelova with a 3rd straight win. Patat down to 5th now. So it now stands Pastelova, Newt Silver, Retro, and Steph the top 4. Patat in 5th, Coco Slayer 6th, Jai in 7th, Araju in 8th as we head back into the carousel for the first time.
Yeah, Retro there with another heavyweight. That's the 3rd person, I believe, that we've seen. That's Patat, Steph, and Retro with heavyweights. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. Again, like we mentioned a minute ago, it's better to stay flexible in the early game, so hopefully none of them have hard committed yet. Otherwise, that is going to be a little bit of a struggle.
Definitely will be, but everyone hopefully getting the units that they need as they jump back to the planning phase here. See, they had that heavyweight comp for now switching to a mighty mech, actually, potentially for Retro with that additional unit Pastelova up to level 5. And now, if you have a look at the top right of your screen, on 104 points. So Pastelova with an augment pick, granting him just a little bit more flexibility here with that adaptive skin trait. Soulfighter Bastion comp it looks to be for Pastelova, heading into battle against Coco Slayer here. So we'll see who can get it done. It's almost a mirror, these two teams, of how they're set up in the front line. Two at the back as well for Pastelova and for Coco Slayer here, but it's Pastelova with just the way better damage output for the front line, and it's now a 4v2. Coco Slayer's backline unable to cope, and it's an easy win for Pastelova, and that'll be a big dent on the points front for Coco Slayer with a 3rd straight loss. The same for Jai, a 4th straight loss for Oreju. Retro as well losing out. Pastelova 4-0 on 104 points. So just that extra bit of breathing room ahead of Newt Silver, Steph, and Patat, who still remain winning here.
Yeah, Soulfighter, definitely a really good comp at the moment. It recently got a few changes. Net positive, mainly buffs. Viego got given that Edgelord trait, so now he is part of Edgelord. So the Soulfighter is a little bit more flexible now. As Samira is also Edgelord, it just works a little bit more in her favor, a little bit more damage, a little bit more Omnivan. Yeah, but Soulfighter as well is a pretty flexible comp. It's pretty flexible. It's got lots of like good secondary traits.
Have a big fight for the early game here. It's first versus second, Pastelova versus Newt Silver. You see the damage output from both of them. The front lines on both ends depleted here, but it's Newt Silver that just had the edge there, getting the picks early on. Pastelova's backline unable to cope, and that's Pastelova's win streak broken there. 4-1. Newt Silver now with her 4th win in a row brings herself just within 3 points of Pastelova, who now dips below 100, is on 99. But Oreju, Giant, Coco Slayer, and Retro all losing again. So those guys lost streaking pretty hard here. Of course, that does not tell all in terms of the strength of their comps right now. They are getting a lot of economy, which could help them later on. We've seen Giant lost streak before many, many times and come back to win games, get top 3s. So this is what he's good at. Heading back into some PvE, these should all be some pretty routine victories for everyone. Just to get some extra goodies. And we're seeing Newt Silver here with a fairly clean, easy victory. That damage output really, really strong for Newt Silver in this early game. A 2-star Janna pick there for Coco Slayer as well, as everyone does win their PvE games. Heading into phase 3-1, back to the drawing board.
Yeah, as you see here, Newt Silver with that training dummy with the emblems. Some very scrummy emblems, actually. Strategist and Executioner. Very good for Mighty Mech. Although a popular comp, I mean, with 2 extra traits for free as well. Like, gonna give her the edge up. Also, gonna take a second to appreciate that little fat festive poro that Nat is sporting today. Absolutely adorable.
Do love a bit of festive cheer as we do head into the month of December here. As you see, Newt Silver now versus Patat, second versus 4th. 2 particularly strong players, of course. Both of these players on a very, very long win streak, so this will be an important win for both of them here to continue said streak here. Jai does get a win over Coco Slayer. Oreju losing a 6th game in a row here. Newt Silver looking particularly strong, just overwhelming Patat here. Can't quite get that last unit down. The staying power, very, very strong for Patat, but does eventually get knocked down. But that is a huge dent in points, down 11 there for Patat, as Newt Silver does take the lead. A 2nd straight loss for Pastelova puts Newt Silver on 5 wins in a row. Some prismatic augment picks as well, as Newt Silver takes the lead.
Yeah, again, like I mentioned, that those extra traits, free traits from Newt Silver, very scrummy indeed. Prismatic trait here as well. Newt Silver has gone with the Radiant Refractor or something along those lines, choosing to upgrade that blue buff into a Radiant blue buff. Going to be giving more mana regen, attack, and ability power, and then increased ability power and attack damage from all sources. So probably looking for either a Rise or a Karma, someone that can utilize that Radiant blue buff pretty well.
Head into phase 3-2. Next on the cards is Jai versus Patat. This was a bit of a heavyweight clash that we saw in the first couple of weeks here as they traded wins left, right, and center. Now find themselves 3rd and 6th in the points here, but still two very, very strong players in their own right. Jai has just snapped a loss streak. Patat as well, who's just come off a fairly big loss. Steph with 5 wins in a row is now a 2v2 way in the bottom corner here between Jai and Patat. It's going to be now a 1v1, and it's going to be Patat just getting that last crucial pick against Jai, back up to 3rd place. Jai down to 6th. Coco Slayer and Areju also losing out their. Patat just getting the win there, but Steph and Newt Silver keeping their win streaks alive as Steph goes up to level 6. Retro up to 3rd place. Pasta Lover starting a bit of a loss streak here with a, I think that's a 3rd loss in a row, down to 4th.
Yeah, unfortunately for Steph here, Jai appears to also be going Wraith, but unfortunately as well, Jai was unable to just kill that Koboko. 2 Warmog's armor, that's like, I don't know, 1,500 health or something insane like that. Koboko scales his damage and shield scales off his health, so definitely a lot of damage there from Koboko, as you saw, just taking out that front line and then moving onto that back line, like, with no problems at all.
Definitely with absolute ease tearing through the team, and we're seeing the same sort of thing again here. Retro looking very, very strong here, but Jai's damage output from his backline looking much, much stronger, and manages to turn it around, does get the win over Retro. Newt Silver's win streak is snapped, but Steph up to 6 in a row, takes the lead by 10 points over Newt Silver. Jai, sorry, back up to 6th. Retro down to 5th. Pasta Lover and Patat still going at it. They're tied for 3rd. It's going to be Pasta Lover getting the win. Patat all the way down to 6th with another big hit for her points. Areju up to 7th. Back into the carousel. There is a big gulf in points here. Steph leads on 95 points with 6 wins on the bounce so far. Newt Silver in 2nd. Pasta Lover 3rd. Retro, Jai, and Patat all fairly close together. Then big gap back to Areju and Coco Slayer at the bottom of the leaderboard.
Yes. Yeah, sorry. Lots of damage items here. BF Sword, Recurve Bow, and a Tear, Sparring Gloves, and a Rod of Ages. I think I only saw like 2 tanky items there, so people definitely prioritizing damage. We have seen a lot of damage already, so maybe some tanky items would have been worth investing in, but unfortunately, if that's not what the carousel gives, that's not what you're going to get.
Always that element of luck in the carousel, almost like a roulette wheel.
Yeah.
It's very, very luck-based, but of course, if luck is on your side and you can build a good team, anything is possible. So we're going to head back into the combat realm, and out of the portal comes Coco Slayer to take on Newt Silver. This is 3rd versus 8th. Coco Slayer somewhat with his back against the wall here on just 54 points. Loss streaking very heavily. That's of course helping his economy, but he needs to start putting it to good use fast if he is to make anything of this. Newt Silver has just had a win streak snap, so he's looking for that momentum and has just torn through Coco Slayer's team like a hot knife through butter. An easy win for Newt Silver and a big hit for Coco Slayer. Down another 12 points, down to just 42. Jai, Pasta Lover, and Patat all losing out as well. Areju with a 2nd win on the bounce. Retro winning as well, up to 3rd. Steph with a 7th in a row, streaking off into the lead as we enter the mid-game here. And still looks very, very strong for Newt Silver despite that loss. Coco Slayer really looking to be struggling here.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think Coco Slayer has had many good games, if any at all, yet. But as you can see here, there is a Crystal Gambit emblem on the field, which is very scary for the rest of the game, actually, because while 5 Crystal Gambit is a bit not great. 7 Crystal Gambit is absolutely overpowered. And this loss streak that she is currently garnering is going to go into those stacks, and that should give a very worthwhile payout in the end.
Okay, we'll see if she can make anything of it. She now takes on Pasta Lover here. 2 wins on the season for Pasta Lover, currently sits second in the standings and 4th in this game. Jaya takes down Newt Silver as well. Retro takes down Steph. So 2 heavy hitters with a big loss in this mid game. Coco Slayer and Pasta Lover still going at it as Pasta Lover and Coco Slayer still fighting here, but Coco Slayer eventually does get those couple picks. It just swings the momentum their way and does get the win over Coco Slayer. Now 8 losses in a row for Coco Slayer. They have to start picking up the pace soon. But now that's a big swing in momentum for a lot of these players. Retro up to second. Steph's win streak is broken. Pasta Lover within just 1 point of Retro. Newt Silver losing out as well. Jai with a big win over Newt Silver. Oreju as well on something of a win streak. Patat losing out as well. And we have seen just in that 1 round of games a very big swing as our focuses now shift to Patat. As we're back into another round of PvE for some more loot, some more goodies for everyone. As they continue to go back to the drawing board and flesh out their plans.
Yeah, a lot of Warmogs here from Patat. That is a very juicy Jace. Heavyweight gives you AD based on your HP, so while Jace does have a lot of health, he should still be dishing out a considerable amount of damage. But as we can also see, Patat has a lot of items on their bench as well, so hopefully when they get put into play, this comp will be a lot stronger.
Definitely looks like Patat might just be cooking up something despite sitting 7th in the leaderboard, of course, especially in the early and mid-game. The leaderboard does not tell all with regards to how strong someone is. That loss streaking can always come into play. Speaking of loss streaking, Coco Slayer is on the board here. 8 losses in a row, currently sits 8th on the leaderboard, just 34 points. Has to start picking up soon though, only a finite amount of health. Before you start to push your luck a little bit. Patat looking particularly strong on the front line, starting to go towards Coco Slayer's backline here. But Coco Slayer's backline able to resist, but in the meantime, his front line completely overwhelmed, and it's going to be a 9th loss in a row for Coco Slayer, down to just 22 points. Patat does pick up the win. Oreju and Pasta Lover both losing out as well. Newt Silver and Steph and Jai all winning their games, as you have some silver augment picks. Another Malzahar pick for Steph. We know Malzahar's been a very popular unit choice, but looking at the leaderboard, while Steph sits just 14 points ahead of Newt Silver, Coco Slayer 30 points off of 7th place Patat. It's looking a little bit scary now for Coco Slayer.
Yeah, definitely. Very close to elimination, but also 300 points, I think, on that Crystal Gambit stacking. Yeah, 326 points. Ooh. So 1 more loss, that'll cross that 350 threshold and possibly even a 400, 450 threshold as well. So hopefully with that cash out, there will be either some more Crystal Gambit emblems or just a lot of gold and items in general.
Definitely. Well, a big important game here for Coco Slayer, as of course that 9 loss streak is going to help this economy a lot. Needs to start putting it to good use before it's too late here. Just 22 points left, 9 losses in a row. Looking particularly strong here, but Jai just beginning to overwhelm Coco Slayer somewhat, and it's a convincing victory for Jai. 10 losses in a row for Coco Slayer, down to just 8 points. Pasta Lover and Retro losing out as well. Jai with a convincing victory takes him up to 3rd. Steph beats out Oreju, or beats out Patat, pardon me, down to just 7th place. Oreju there beating, I believe that was Retro. And Coco Slayer now down to just 8 points, 10 losses in a row. But as you did mention, George, that Crystal Gambit did cross that threshold there. So I think now is going to be, it's now or never really for Coco Slayer to use all those goods that she's got from those 10 losses, that Crystal Gambit that you mentioned.
Yeah. Like, that was a lot of gold they got there. I think they got up to about 70 gold. I'm not sure how much they had before, but I think it was about 20, 30 gold they received from that. Unfortunately, just scarce of the 400 threshold, which would have given a little bit more, potentially even an emblem to get to that 7 Crystal Gambit. But I'm not 100% sure if it's going to be enough.
Have to wait and see. They're taking on Retro here. Retro again with some big damage output. Coco Slayer's unable to get the picks that they need, but they're beginning to turn it around. And could this be Coco Slayer staying alive? It's a 4v2 now against Retro. Coco Slayer does stay alive. First win of the game, and that could be a big one for Coco Slayer. Does turn it around. Just when for a moment in the start of that fight it looked a little bit sketchy, they do bring it back. Still on just 8 points, bottom of the leaderboard. But Steph still leading the way on 88 points. A big gap back to Newt Silver on 62. Jai 58. Areju there on 53. Patat on 42 points. Retro on 40. Pasta Lover on 36. Only to mention Coco Slayer in last on just 8 points. But with a massive win there. Looking very, very strong.
Yeah, these players just love telling me to shut up, don't they? Me saying that it didn't look very convincing, but then absolutely won. But yeah, I mean, very close to 7 Crystal Gambit still, but yeah, as long as she continues to get those units, her power will increase. As we can see, she has those Jannas. She's just missing that Zyra, but as soon as they get that Zyra, that's their game. I fear it is their game.
Definitely looking particularly strong. Just that one missing puzzle piece for Coco Slayer. And then we might see potentially the unthinkable kind of comeback here. Speaking of comebacks, we've got Steph, who we know is particularly strong at coming back from losing positions. Almost won from 7th place just a couple of weeks ago. He takes on Newt Silver in a first versus second match. So this is a big match here. See how fleshed out these front lines are, beginning to get the benches almost full for both sides here. Picks for both sides, but Newt Silver's front line looking particularly strong. Just a slight number advantage there for Newt Silver, but Steph beginning to come back. It won't quite be enough. Newt Silver does get the win over Steph and just decreases that points gap ever so slightly, just to 16 now. Steph on 78. Jai also winning. Coco Slayer as well with a second straight win over Areju, I believe that was. Pasta Lover beats Patat. Retro losing out as well. So Coco Slayer might just be cooking something here.
Yeah. Again, once they get that Zyra, or if they can survive long enough to... Oh, Newt Silver with that Zyra. Just rolled that. Oh, no, not to verse Steph. Steph had that Zyra. Hopefully Coco Slayer can find that Zyra. Again, because once they get that 7 Crystal Gambit, it's over. Like, wow, not over. They could still be beaten, but 7 Crystal Gambit, very, very strong indeed.
Definitely something to look out for. With Coco Slayer's back still somewhat against the wall. Patat versus Retro. It's 6th versus 7th on the leaderboard at the moment on 30 and 26 points each. So both of these players going to need to start winning games here. And immediately picks for both sides, but it's Retro's front line that just looks a little bit stronger, getting those 1, 2 picks there, beginning to overwhelm Patat somewhat. Patat, though, not out of it just yet. Begins to turn the tide here. And if Patat can get those last couple of picks, which she can, she will get the win over Retro. Coco Slayer with a 3rd win in a row. Pasta Lover losing out as well. Patat up to 5th. Areju winning as well against Jaya, and Newt Silver loses out as well. So Steph back to being 27 points in front at the moment. No one able to get a win streak going really, except for Coco Slayer, who sits now on 3 in a row. Just 15 gold though, that Crystal Gambit really coming in clutch, just waiting for that final puzzle piece, as you mentioned, George, that Zyra could be all that she needs. Now coming up against some more PvE, looking for some more goodies, presumably. Everyone should win these games rather routinely. Giant Newt Silver, Areju already winning. Soon enough, everyone follows suit. So fairly easy for these guys at this point as we enter phase 5-1.
Yeah, very scrummy prismatic orb there. Hopefully just enough to get that Zyra for Coco Slayer, but still rolling for that. Go in there, just not... Oh! Speak of the devil, Zyra in that store right now. 7 Crystal Gambit. Will she put it on the field? Nope.
Not just yet for Coco Slayer.
Unfortunately, she might not be aware that 7 Crystal Gambit is absolutely insane. But Yeah, 3-star Swain, and they got the Zyra, so not too bad.
Not too bad at all. We'll see if Coco Slayer can get past Patat here. Patat's backline, though, looks particularly strong, just overwhelming Coco Slayer in the middle of the park. Could the fairy tale be over? The healing, though, very, very strong for Coco Slayer. Does get that one pick. It's still a 2v1, though. But there's Coco Slayer's backline doing the work. That makes it a 1v1 in the front line. And they're still healing that central unit, but it does get picked off. Could this be it? Not quite. Coco Slayer just about pulls through, gets the win over Patat. 4 in a row. Pasta Lover losing out as well. Retro getting a very important win there. And all of a sudden, the elimination race just got very, very tight indeed. The bottom 4 separated by just 10 points. Jai winning as well there. Araju up to 3rd. Newt Silver in 2nd. Steph loses out. Is up to 1st. Or stays in 1st, rather, but with a slightly diminished gap at the front.
Please, someone tell her to put that Vi and that Janna on the field, please. That Ashe turned into an absolute minigun, but oh my god, she would have been doing so much more damage. For those who don't know, Crystal Gambit 7 gives you so much bonus stats. It gives you extra health, it gives you damage amplification, and it gives you increased rewards from your Crystal Gambit cash outs. So put it on the field.
Let's see if Coco Slayer does get the memo. Right now, our focus is on Steph versus Retro. Steph loses out, and Coco Slayer is out of the game. The fairy tale does not come off. It looked for a moment like Coco Slayer could have potentially had something there, starting to put together a 4-game win streak. It does not come off. Retro is off a massive win over Steph as Araju up to 2nd place. Newt Silver loses out as well. Jai now level for 3rd with Newt Silver. Retro on just 16 points, Pasta level on 15. Patat losing out as well. Now just 1 game away from elimination on 5 points. But Coco Slayer out of the game. Was it potentially not putting that Crystal Gambit on the field that cost her?
Yeah, I fear it. That was slightly painful. Unfortunately, again, Crystal Gambit 7 is so strong. Like, someone could be going through like the worst game and then get Crystal Gambit 7, and no matter what they have, it's like bish bash bosh over. But yeah, unfortunately we didn't get to see that this game. But yeah, close, very close though.
Very close, did not go down without a fight. Did Coco Slayer. Patat versus Pasta Lover now. This is P7 versus P6, of course. Both of these guys with their backs massively against the wall, and you see they're both fighting very, very hard for it here. It's a 3v2 in the direction of Patat here. It's now 2v1, and Pasta Lover now just about gets it done. Patat out of the game. Pasta Lover just hangs on, so 7th place, just 2 points for Patat at the moment. Heading back into the carousel, we are down to just 6 players. Steph still leads the way on 49 points. Rachel on 41. Jai on 27. Newt Silver down to 4th on 24 points. Retro on 16 points. Pasta Lover on 15.
Yep. Patat just unfortunately unable to hold on there. Yeah, unfortunately the heavyweight is quite contested, especially with that Wraith as well. But yeah, just unfortunate.
Unfortunate indeed. A 2-star rise pick there for Newt Silver, as we see on the bottom right. And if you get a 3-star rise, that's an additional bonus point.
That is additional 3 points.
Yeah, exactly. So that could be massive for Newt Silver. She struggles to get that 4th win of the season. Sits just in 4th place at the minute. That might grant her some very, very strong points indeed to help potentially soften the blow. 3-star Rakon pick there for Araju, but it's Newt Silver versus Jai, the 2 heavyweights of the competition so far. You'd have to say they now lock horns in phase 5-5 on just 27 and 24 health each. They currently sit 3rd and 4th on the leaderboard, and it is a convincing victory for Newt Silver. I hadn't even finished introducing the fight, and Newt Silver had already toppled Jai fairly easily. Jai down to just 12 points, a big blow there. Pasta Lover as well down to just 3. So that is a massive win for Newt Silver as she heads up to 3rd. Araju now leads the game here. None of our Chai students may end up winning this match as the momentum swings to Araju. That loss streak at the start really helping them as Steph drops down to 2nd.
yeah, I think our first look at a rage with this game. But yeah, going Battle Academia, um, got those four 3 stars. And, you know, got that Caitlyn, that Kata, that Ezreal, and that Rakan. A lot of good frontline, but a lot of good backline and fighting sustainability as well. So definitely a fight for Nuke Silver indeed.
Won't be easy in the slightest, but Nuke Silver looking so strong here. And she does get the win, just tears through Araju there. Pastelova does hold on just 3 points. Steph loses out as well as Retro is on 5 wins in a row. Nuke Silver takes second away from Steph. Araju though still leads, and all of a sudden the fight at the top got very hot indeed. Pastelova in 5th place as Jai. I didn't even notice that Jai is out of the game. So that 12-point buffer, not enough to keep him alive for one more loss. So Jai just 3 points this game. That will not help his points charge as he tries to eat into Nuke Silver's gap at the front. Pastelova as well needs to pick up the pace here if he is to catch Nuke Silver. That 16-point gap could just get a little bit bigger at the top here. Retro on 5 wins so far. Steph also has a dog in the fight here, just 1 point behind Nuke Silver with Araju 4 points in front. Of course, Araju not fighting for any points this time around. Just 5 players left, and really anyone can still win it.
Yeah, unfortunate for Jai, had -1 points, so only 2 points needed to have survived there, but oh well. Oh, sorry, that was very like, oh well. But yeah, Newt over here got that Pandora's Bench, so definitely looking for that 3-star rise. Once she gets that, that'll be a really scrummy addition to the team. As we know, she has that strategist executioner emblems, which is good in this team. But no, maybe she's going for another 3-star. Oh, she might be going for a 3-star Karma actually. As she's put that rise on the bench, hoping to get a 2-star full cost of another kind.
And we see Nuke Silver and Retro both winning their games, and that has brought the entire field just a little bit closer together. Araju and Steph both losing out. They're now just on 11 and 9 points respectively. Pastelova does hang on just 3 points here. Retro on 6 wins in a row, potentially a first win of the season for them. No one really running away with it, but right now Nuke Silver looking strong for a potential record of 4 wins on the season. The record currently shared with Jai on 3. Of course, Jai won't get that 4th win. This time around, he's eliminated already. He's going to finish 6th in this game. It's now Retro versus Pastelova. Pastelova hanging on for all their worth here, but Retro, pardon me, on 6 wins in a row. Their damage output looks particularly strong at this moment, and it's going to be Retro beginning to overwhelm Pastelova. Wasn't even close. -16 for Pastelova. Steph also out. It's a double elimination. Nuke Silver also loses out. So Nuke Silver, no matter what, will extend their points lead ever so slightly with Steph and Pastelova also eliminated. Araju still remains in the fight here in 2nd place. Retro, 7 wins in a row, has all the momentum. So we'll make a big dent in everyone else's points here. But Nuke Silver now down to just 7 points here. So this could be a big last couple of fights in phase 6-3.
Yeah, a very close game today, actually. The last few weeks, we've had like one really up there contender. But no, Retro on 16, Araju on 11, and Nuke Silver on 7. Steph just making it into top 4 there with only a few points more than Pastelova, who unfortunately just outside of that top 4 in 5th place.
Nuke Silver versus Araju. This is 2nd versus 3rd here. We'll see what can be done here. Nuke Silver's frontline looks particularly strong, getting all the picks over Araju. A clean sweep. Araju eliminated from the match here. Nuke Silver stays alive on just 7 points. Retro as well, getting it done there. 7 wins in a row. Araju is out of the game. It's now a 1v1. Retro looking for it, win number 1. Nuke Silver, the points leader, looking for win number 4, and will be a massive boost to her championship bid here if she can get the win here. but Retro still looking to pull off a first ever victory in the series.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like we've had Newt Silver versus Retro before.
I think
in
we
a
have.
1v1. I might be
A
lying.
couple weeks
but
ago at least, I would think.
I was gonna say a couple weeks ago, but yeah, Mighty Mech versus Mighty Mech. Quite funny how even though they're going the same comp, they're in the top 2, so not much contestation.
I
Contesting.
think that's a word.
Is that a word? It's a word
I'm
now.
not sure. We've made
It's
it.
a word now. But yeah, just so probably just unable to get those 3-star 4 costs, but still will get top 2.
Definitely. Retro on 8 wins in a row. We'll see if Newt Silver can do anything to snap that streak, but Retro looking particularly strong as those big mechs taking up so much of the battlefield. They have both diminished each other to such low health, but Newt Silver's just lasted that little bit longer, but Retro stays alive on 2 points. Still with a way to win this game. Newt Silver does take the lead now, has 7 points. Retro down to just 2, has to do some rethinking now that that win streak has been broken, using the last of that gold on just anything that he can. Level 9 as well for Retro, so using all those additional units. I don't think we've seen anyone quite get to level 10 yet. That gap to level 10 is just a little bit too big for anyone to get to.
Yeah, I don't think we have. I don't think we have yet. But yeah, last round, I was like, who's who? The exact same comp. 2 huge mechs in the middle of the field. Like, someone's winning, but I'm not sure who. But yeah, absolute clutch there from Retro on 2 health.
And that 2 health could be all that Retro needs. Of course, both of these players essentially 1 away from elimination here, as it's single digits for both of them. We'll see if Retro can do anything to topple Newt Silver. Will it be a 4th win for Newt Silver? Will it be a 1st win for Retro? It will be a 4th win for Newt Silver. Just about gets past Retro there. And it will be a 4th win in the series for Newt Silver. A massive boost for her championship bid. The most wins now of any player so far in the series. An extra 8 points as players like Steph and Jai all fall by the wayside just a little bit outside the podium places. Means that is going to be a big points haul for Newt Silver.
Yeah, a very, very strong lead from Newt Silver. I don't think anyone's gonna be able to take it anymore. Was Newt Silver part of our bets? I can't remember.
I think
already
she was the
forgot.
one person we didn't say because we wanted to be a bit contrarian.
Oh, no.
But
Now we're both idiots.
We're both
look like
idiots.
I don't think either of us said Retro either.
No.
But yeah, we are gonna go on a quick 5-10 minute break. So we will see you after that.
are back for game 2 of week 6 of the Hive Esports Teamfight Tactics series. Pardon me, I had my microphone down. We are back
Me
for
too, actually. Ooh.
game 2, week 6 of the Hive Esports Teamfight Tactics series here on twitch.tv/Hive Esports Games here. A walk-off win for Newt Silver in game number 1 enables her to extend her championship lead even more to, I believe, 20 points, if not more here. So she is absolutely romping away with it at the halfway stage here, as the likes of Steph Pastelova couldn't quite get the results they needed. Of course, that one bot that we had playing, as we only have 7 players here tonight, does throw a little spanner in the works as well, just taking points away from everybody else. What was your highlight, though, for game number 1, just quickly before we get into game number 2?
Definitely, obviously, that last fight, very close. Like, that carousel or that little PvE round could have changed a lot for them, but no, they stayed strong, or Newt Silver stayed strong, and still managed to take that win, despite, you know, Retro. I almost said Pastelova. I'm so used to saying Pastelova. But yeah, despite Retro being a little bit more powerful than before, but yeah, very well played indeed. What about you?
I'd have to say the same. I'm going to honestly say Coco Slayer for the effort that they
Yeah.
put in to almost get that. I think you mentioned that Crystal Gambit just was the piece that they needed,
Yeah,
but
they actually had it,
they had it.
but
But
put it on
being
the
able to go
board.
10 losses in a row, be confident in the fact that you won't get eliminated, and
Yep.
being able to start that win streak. Okay, it didn't come off, but being able to start that win streak and be very confident in your own strength, I think that is a highlight. I think that's definitely that's a big what if for Coco Slayer.
Yeah,
But I think that was still a noble attempt, and we love to see that sort of thing, definitely. We're going to be going into game number 2. I think I'm going to stay with my pick. Saying that, I think I've forgotten. Do you remember what your pick was for game number 2? I think we've both forgotten.
I know I said Steph, and I think I also went with Pastelova to be safe. I might be lying, but
We don't know. I think if my pick wasn't already Pastelova, I'm going to go with Pastelova to win the game. I
Yeah.
think a big comeback from Pastelova just to put a dent in Newt Silver's points lead at the moment will definitely be big for us. But we're just about to head into game number 2. We're at the carousel right now, heading into the planning phase 1-2, and we have a new bot. We have Jackalmot, I think is how that's supposed to be called. That really, we both had to lean
Jack
forward to
Elmot.
actually read that.
bro got a freaky name, Jack
Freaky
Elmot.
name.
We'll just say Jack. We'll just call them Jack.
Jack, that's Jack for now.
Very generic. Very
They're not
generic.
watching anyway. They're a bunch
No,
of
no,
ones
no,
and
no.
zeros.
Oh my god, can you imagine?
They will not.
They're watching our game.
Their whole AI like research.
Awkward. Sorry, Jack.
Sorry,
Sorry for getting your
Jackalmot.
name wrong. You should join our competition.
Maybe stop pretending it's 2012 and pick the numbers out your name.
Yeah, dead eye. Oh, excuse me. We're not family friendly. We're not.
You dropped an F-bomb
We
last
are.
week.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Like, there's no proof. You have no proof. No, there's no proof.
That's true. The VOD's expired on Twitch. So there's no
Yeah.
proof.
Just don't look at our. Don't
Do
look at our YouTube channel. No, don't do it. Whatever will we do if you look at our YouTube?
Just conveniently skip that part though.
I'm just kidding, guys. Go subscribe to our YouTube
Yeah.
channel, Hive Esports Games. A little selfish plug there.
Absolutely. And all our other social medias as well. We've got TikTok,
yeah,
we've got
yeah.
Twitter, and we've got Instagram.
Yeah, stay
As well as our
tuned.
Twitch.
We're gonna start doing some goofy dances. I'm gonna hit that
Yeah.
renegade, hit that whoa, 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 whoa.
And I'm going to sit here and not do those things.
What the hell?
Because I don't have the flexibility to do any sort of dance.
Oh my
I don't have
god.
coordination.
But that's what makes it so fun. That's what makes it exciting,
True.
engaging, like, for the viewers.
For the
okay?
viewers, for the Vine.
Oh my god.
doing it for Vine.
Vine, Jesus, making me feel old here. Actually, I don't think I was alive for Vine. I'm not gonna lie. I think
Yeah,
I was just a
never had Vine.
baby.
I never
Me
had
neither.
Vine. I think it died when we were like 10 years old.
Yeah, something like maybe
That's
earlier.
sad.
Maybe earlier. That is sad.
That's really sad.
A lot of like my stim quotes or Vine
Yeah.
memes as well.
And they were roommates.
Oh,
Oh my god, they were roommates.
oh my god. I can't think of anything on the spot. Like now I'm trying to think of something, so I can't.
Story
think of
time.
anything. Story time.
Story time.
Oh my
Should we
god,
talk about
Reddit.
TFT?
Oh, maybe we should. Our players starting with a 2-star 1 cost this game from the whatever we call it, the thing at the start that gives you No, it's like the augment of the game. I don't know what they're calling it these days. I'm not down with the kids. But yeah, the starting augment of the game, giving us a 2-star 1 cost, could potentially be game deciding for some players if they decide to go the comp of that character, or if they just sell it for some good cash.
Definitely, we'll have to wait and see. Coco Slayer onto a bit of a better start than in game number 1 with a win over Steph. So Pastel of Ajay, Steph and Patat losing out with Jack, Coco Slayer, Newt Silver and Retro winning their first games here. Of course, yet to determine just what comps these guys are all going for, but we're seeing level 4s, level 5s, Patat going up to level 5. That just grants her that 1 additional unit. I'm seeing a Cogmore in the middle of the park there, I believe, there for Patat. So a crew comp potentially. We saw the crew comp being particularly strong the last couple of weeks. I think people are starting to figure out this set. Obviously, we're transitioning to, I believe, set 16 at the end of this season. So that will make weeks 8, 9 and 10 probably a little bit more interesting. But we now see Patat and Coco Slayer going at it past Patat, excuse me, with 1 loss, Coco Slayer with 1 win. We'll see who can get it done here. It's a 2v1 for the front lines here between Patat and Coco Slayer in favor of Patat. Now a 1v1 Coco Slayer with that better damage output, it would seem. Now a 2v1 in favor of Coco Slayer. Patat's backline particularly vulnerable, and that's going to be a second straight win for Coco Slayer here. Patat down to last alongside Pastelova, Steph and Jai getting the win here. Newt Silver and Jack also losing. So Retro and Coco Slayer, the only player so far going 2-0.
Yeah, a very tanky Garen. I mean, Garen passive with Battle Academia gives him a little bit more health, a little bit more healing, combined with Spirit Visage, getting that missing health healing as well. Talking about set 16 though, as a person that doesn't play TFT, I think you're going to have fun casting that one. There is a lot of hidden mechanics.
Oh,
they're adding, instead of there being 60 units, there's going to be 100 units. And a lot of them are unlockable. So during the game, you unlock the unit as opposed to the unit just being available to you. And you unlock the unit by doing little side missions. So have fun remembering all of those.
That's great. That's just what I need. I've spent the first 5 weeks actually learning what this game is about. And now I've picked it up and they go, yeah, so here's a new set with new rules and everything. That's great. That's just what I need.
Quite literally, yeah.
That's amazing.
But yeah, we'll only have a few weeks of that though, so you
I'll
won't
have to do some homework.
Yeah, just a bit of homework.
Just a bit of homework.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason I know we're switching sets is because I saw it on the internet somewhere.
Oh my god, on the interwebs.
On the interwebs. I didn't actually actively look for this information, so don't be too impressed that I know that we're switching
You were
sets.
the knowledge was forced upon you.
It literally was. It's because I went on the Hive Twitter and we follow a bunch of TFT accounts. That's it.
Okay. You were getting, I don't know, propaganded, force-fed it. I don't know.
I'm being force-fed TFT prop.
Oh, whoopsies.
Whoopsies. Coco Slayer potentially with a bit of a misstep in the carousel. Hopefully not.
I think what happened was Coco Slayer has an augment called Young, Wild and Free, I think. It just lets her go on the carousel before anyone else. And I think she picked up what she picked up before it had actually appeared on the carousel. So I think she tried to walk through it, but then just walked into something that was quite literally invisible, which is quite funny, to be fair.
That's unfortunate.
But yeah, a chain vest for Coco Slayer and a little bit of gold. Hopefully that's what she needed, but if not, it's a chain vest. There's a gargoyle stone plate or a Titan's Resolve. Not too bad. Not too bad.
Thing.
Yeah. You could have got sparring gloves or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Or a feather packet opening and a feather inside. That'd be awful.
God, that would be awful.
I would hate to just randomly walk into that.
Yeah. Europe.
Coco Slayer versus Retro going at it, and this must be a fairly convincing for Coco Slayer thus far, although Retro's backline looking particularly strong at 2v2. We'll see who has the better damage output. 2v1, 2v0 in the favor of Coco Slayer. It's a 4th straight win for Coco Slayer, as Steph, Patat and Pastelov have now occupied the bottom 3 places, all of whom just lost their most recent game. Newt Silver in 5th, Jack in 4th, Jai, Retro and Coco Slayer at the top of the leaderboard, the only player still undefeated thus far. Newt Silver just popping in there for a moment, taking a quick peek at what Coco Slayer might just be cooking up here. as he remains undefeated, the only one to do so thus far, 4-0.
Yeah, Steph here going Wraith yet again. But this time it looks like he's going for a more prodigy approach, which it kind of looked like he was doing last game, but I think he pivoted just a little bit. But I mean, he got top 4 still, so that's pretty scrummy. But yeah, Newt Silver having a look at Coco Slayer as probably definitely scouting out for the people in the top, because again, she's going to want that top spot again, get that 5th win.
Definitely looks to be that way. And Newt Silver with a very, very convincing victory over Steph. That's going to be a fairly big dent on the points front for Steph. I think lost about 6 points there, down to just 82. Pasta Lover on 77, Patat on 76. Coco Slayer with a 5th win in a row. You see the fire around his avatar. 5 wins or more gives you that little emblem around your avatar. Retro on 96 points, Jack on 95, Newt Silver 94. Jai on 91, Steph on 82, Pasta Lava on 77, Patel 76. So I think those bottom 3, as they begin to have a little bit of a gap up to the top 5, I think those are ones that are really focused on loss streaking at the moment. As we see Steph taking on the monsters, looking for that loot and those goodies in the PvE rounds. Everyone should win these rather routinely. Steph actually, I think, was the first one to actually win his PvE round, so potentially looking quite strong. As your little reminder, Coco Slayer win streak is on 5 wins so far. As we head into phase 3 momentarily, heading back to the drawing board, we'll see how well Steph's Wraith composition can come through here.
Yeah, Steph with a lot of damage here at the moment. He has those 3 heavyweights, and then obviously he had 2-star Ezreal with a Giant Slayer and a blue buff, but now he has a 3-star Ezreal. Yeah, which is good actually, because he has final form on that Ezreal, which I believe at 3-7 or 4-1, I can't remember, it will turn into a 4-star Ezreal. So very, very scrummy indeed. Definitely probably going to be looking for that Prodigy just to increase that power of that Ezreal, but probably also going to be looking for some more heavyweights for that frontline sustain.
Definitely, we'll see. Oh, Coco Slayer's frontline just tearing through Steph here like a hot knife through butter, looking very, very strong in this early game. I think just giving themselves a bit more of a cushion than last time when they, I think that was an intentional loss streak there. Just didn't quite come off for Coco Slayer. They're starting off hot, 6 wins in a row. Steph on a 4th loss in a row. Patat does snap their losing streak, so they're up to 6th. Pasta Lover down to last as Jai moves up to 5th. Jack up to 2nd as well. Newt Silver and Retro, I believe, also swap places. Got some gold augment picks. This is Steph's picks. 1 reroll at the moment. 2 rerolls for Steph in those gold augment picks.
Gone for a cloning facility. He's going to have 2 4-star Ezreals at some point, I believe, with that final form. But, ooh, do you know what would be devious? If you had cloning facility and shadow clone as well. You just have like 3 Ezreals. There's also Trickster's Glass as well, so you could have like 4 of one character. Oh my god.
That'd be nasty.
I need to see the 4 of one character. That'd be crazy.
That'd be filthy.
Disgusting.
Disgusting.
Disgusting. Yeah. There was a variation of Trickster's Glass at one point where it would just keep spawning clones of that character. But I think they thought that was too strong, so they might have removed that. But yeah, very goofy indeed.
See Patat versus Coco Slayer here. Coco Slayer on 6 wins. Patat just snapped their own losing streak. Jack up to 5 wins in a row. But Coco Slayer with a dominant victory over Patat. And that's a massive dent in Patat's points as well, down to just 65. Pasta Lover, Steph and Retro all losing 7-0 for Coco Slayer. Jack up to 2nd place. Newt Silver and Jai stay 3rd and 4th. But Retro, Steph, Patat and Pasta Lover all with some fairly big losses in that particular round there. We're already starting to see a fairly big gap form between the top 5 and the bottom 3.
Yeah, actually, what is that? 39 health difference. So yeah, Pasta Lover in the bottom as well, something we haven't seen as of recent. But Yeah, a Smolder comp here from Jai, potentially. That or Smolder is just a fill-in for the Supreme Cell. But, yeah, interesting.
As we now see Jai versus Newt Silver here. Newt Silver, of course, won game 1, has all the momentum with a massive championship lead here. But Jai's frontline is particularly strong, but Newt Silver does get those picks. And it's going to be another win potentially for Newt Silver. It's now 3v2, 3v1. And dominance there for Newt Silver. She's up to 5 in a row. Waiting to see the results of Coco Slayer and Jack's game. Coco Slayer up to 8 in a row. Jack does lose out there, I believe, to Steph. Pasta Lover, I think, beats Patat. Patat back down to last. And as we head into the carousel, Coco Slayer still leads 8-0 on 100 points. Newt Silver with 5 wins in a row on 94 points. Jack just lost a 6-game winning streak, is down to 87 points. Jai on 74, tied with Retro. Steph on 66. Pasta Lover on 61, Patat on 57.
Yeah, Newt Silver with that Soulfire comp. I don't think we've seen that much today, which is unusual because usually we have like a few people contesting Soul Fighter, so very clever. But obviously we also have that additional point for the Prismatic Soul Fighter, and Soul Fighter Prismatic is one of the somewhat easier ones to get. You just have to get 8 Soul Fighter and then 10 wins. And getting a 6 Soul Fighter early is looking pretty good. And as we mentioned as well, Soul Fighter receiving those buffs recently with that Viego turning into an edgelord as well as a duelist and a Soul Fighter. So giving him a little bit more synergy with Soul Fighter and Samira in general.
See Newt Silver now takes on Jackalbot, our Jackalbot for today's game number 2 here, filling in our 8th player slot, and Newt Silver tears through Jack's front line like a hot knife through butter. Jack does have the far more fleshed out backline, pardon me, but just unable to do anything about Newt Silver's far superior damage output. 6 wins in a row for Newt Silver, it's 9 in a row for Coco Slayer as Jack falls down to 3rd place, 15 points behind Newt Silver. Retro in 4th. Jai and Steph now separated by just 1 point. Past 11 and Patat both losing their games. So they have a big gap up towards the players in front of them. So they've got a bit of a mountain to climb. Of course, those lost streaks will help their economy, but they have to start putting it to good use to start bridging that gap. Jai moves up to level 7, I think the first player to do so. So those additional units could potentially come in handy for Jai, as he'll probably again look to surge his way up the leaderboard early on here. Of course, couldn't quite pull it off. 3-star Malphite for Pasta Lover could be crucial for him. Heading back into the battlefield, Retro versus Coco Slayer. Retro, runner-up in game number 1, was oh so close to that first win of the season. Takes on the undefeated so far Coco Slayer here, and we'll see who can come out on top. As Coco Slayer, the backline looks particularly strong with helping that frontline get those picks. Does take down Retro's frontline. It's now a 4v1. It's a perfect 10 for Coco Slayer. 10 in a row. Newt Silver as well, up to 7 in a row. Jack and Steph also winning. Retro, Jai, Pastelava and Patat all failing to win those games.
Excuse me, yeah, sorry. Maybe this is a comeback or some retribution from Coco Slayer, especially after that last game. Very close to that very powerful 7 Crystal Gambit, but no. Pastelava here going the crew. Unfortunately, a little bit late to those 3-star units like Severe, but does have that Malphite and is working their way towards the Shen and the Ziggs, so potentially a little bit of that, but a lot of items on their bench right now, so hopefully a little bit of sticking power for them.
Definitely Pastelava looking particularly strong, has a lot of economy as well. 61 gold in the pocket as they advance to level 6 just for that additional unit. It seems like to fill out their bench. Retro up to level 7. I think Pastelava's been stockpiling a little bit of economy so far, starting to make some additional investments. We're going to head back into the battlefield for phase 4-1 here, and Pastelava's going to come up against Steph, so this is 4th versus 7th here. in the game so far. We'll see if Coco Slayer and Nutsilver can keep up their very, very long-standing win streaks here. As Pasta Lover seems to have a slightly more fleshed out backline, but immediately getting picked off there by Steph's backline, and that was convincing for Steph, down to just 30 points for Pasta Lover. Steph up to 4th, Jack up to 3rd there, as I think Coco Slayer and Nutsilver may well just be fighting each other. They are, and Nutsilver snaps Coco Slayer's 10-0 win streak. Nutsilver up to 8 in a row, takes the lead just as we get some gold augment picks there. These are Pasta Lovers picks we're looking at, but that is a massive win for Nutsilver, taking down Coco Slayer.
Yeah, I got a bit scared there for a second. I really thought you were going to say snaps her neck. I was like, Jesus Christ,
it's a bit violent for
competition. I mean,
violent.
Potentially on that B theme, I think they kill each other if they're not doing great.
That's true.
That might be misinformation. I'm sorry. Actually, no,
they say something. There's the Queen Bee does like get killed in some like.
She gets some kills. Like
it's kind of awful actually. But
yeah.
bees make cool honey, and that's what we should focus on, and not how they
they're very
mutilate each other.
cute, and they help the planet.
Yeah.
Save the bees, guys.
Yes.
Save the bees.
Save the bees. Support your local beekeepers. All that fun
maybe
stuff.
Maybe we do some charity.
And don't
work
snap
next
each
year.
other's necks.
No, please don't do that. Please
not
don't
do
do
that.
Do that in your free time, just not in this competition.
Do not attach us to your snapping of necks. What you do in your free time is not
yeah,
others'
that's up to you. Okay, you go crazy, guys.
Yeah. Speaking
Yeah.
of violence,
Yeah,
there's a lot on the
TFT,
screen right
fighting.
now.
Yeah.
Coco Slayer versus Patat. That 2nd versus 8th. Coco Slayer looking to regain that win streak after having that 10-0 win streak snapped by Nutsilver. Pasta Lover loses their game. They're down to just 17 points. See if Coco Slayer can come back against Patat, who sits on just 24 points. Nutsilver spectating as she's already won her game. And Patat looking like a far more fleshed out backline, but Coco Slayer still does have his main unit that's going to do a lot of the damage here, but can Patat get it done just about with the last backline unit? Coco Slayer with a 2nd loss on the bounce here. A 3-star Shen pick for Pasta Lover here. Malzahar, Darius, and Karma. A lot of units now being picked up by our players here. Pasta Lover down just 17 points. A massive win for Patat to stay alive in this game on just 24 points. Beats Coco Slayer. Nutsilver on 9 wins now straight here. Pulls 15 points ahead of Coco Slayer, just as Steph starts to gain some big momentum as well. Just 13 points off 2nd place Coco Slayer with 5 wins in a row. Jai and Jack also starting to hold their own in the middle of the leaderboard, as well as Steph and Retro now go at it. Steph in the green, Retro in the red here. We'll see if Steph's front line is as strong as it is played up to be. It most certainly is, as he begins to tear through Retro's front line, but Retro coming back here with some very big damage output. Gets 2-3 picks all simultaneously. Is not going to quite be enough to hold off Steph. It's a 6th win in a row for Steph, a 3rd loss in a row for Coco Slayer. Pasta Lover down to just 3 points. Retro as well losing out, and Jack as well. Nutsilver on 10 wins in a row now, streaking ahead by 26 points over Coco Slayer. That's your top 2. Steph just 2 points behind, 6 wins in a row in 3rd. Jai in 4th, a big gap back to Jack in 5th, tied with Retro in 6th, with Patat in 7th, and Pasta Lover 1 game away from potential elimination in 8th.
Yeah, I think we might have cursed Pasta Lover this game.
Yeah.
We said at the beginning of the game we thought it was going to be him for the win, but sorry. We should have known. We should have known, because this always happens.
We should have
always
picked the bot.
happens. Oh, we should have. We should have. Should have streamer cursed the bot. Sorry, Jack. I hope you're not listening. Please don't snap our necks, please.
Yeah, please don't do that.
Please.
That would be not optimal.
I'm innocent.
Then you wouldn't have any casters. Who's going to cast?
Yeah, literally. This bee can't speak. As cute is it? As
He just
cute
buzzes.
as it?
Where's the
real?
insight? Where's the analysis from?
I was gonna say we can't speak that. Like we don't speak that. Bzz, bzz,
No one speaks. Bzz, bzz.
bzz,
No
bzz,
one that
bzz.
watching the Twitch stream speaks. Bzz, bzz.
Yeah. Like y'all don't know what I just said. I just
Exactly.
said some very treacherous things there.
But it was in buzz buzz, so you don't know.
Yeah.
You said what?
Excuse me.
You
Yeah,
can't
this
say
bee,
that.
this
Can't
bee
say
traumatized right now, but he can't say anything. Yeah. What's he
He
gonna
wants
do?
to scream, but he has no mouth.
Oh God. I hope he has no sentience.
I hope not either. Otherwise, there might be like some B apocalypse.
Oh,
While we're doing that, Patat just beat Jai. If we're focusing on the actual game.
yeah.
No.
The actual game, the actual issues.
Pastelova is also out. We're missing
Oh.
important parts here because we're speaking buzz buzz.
Oh, yeah, we're trying to learn new languages.
Pastelova is unfortunately out of the game. In
Uh,
8th place, just 1 point for Pastelova. Not the week they've been looking for
yeah.
in the slightest. They will almost definitely relinquish 2nd place in the championship after this, as they were looking to put a dent in Newt Silver's lead, but right now Newt Silver is doing everything right here and is just continuing to extend that lead at the top of the series. At the rate she's going, she may well clinch before week 10.
I fear we've scared Jack. It appears Jack is AFK. Good.
Suboptimal.
Stay AFK.
Suboptimal for Jack.
Our bots have disconnected. Our bots have come offline. Yeah, a very easy and free win for Jai there.
Unfortunate for Jack, down to just 9 points. Patat also loses out. Steph as well for the top 4 here, all winning their games. Newt Silver 26 points ahead of Coco Slayer, who is also 23 points ahead of Giant. So 2 very, very big gaps between the top 3. They're not quite as big a gap down to Retro and Steph. And then Patat and Jack all find themselves quite far back as well, with their backs very much up against the wall. Not the week that Patat's been looking for either. They're in that fight sort of for 2nd place. But
Yeah.
not the points haul that she has been looking for to try and claw back. Of course, we know she's capable of winning. She won, I think, game 2, week 1 it was.
Yeah.
But just hasn't been able to replicate that since then. As everyone routinely wins their PvE rounds. They've got 25 seconds in phase 5-1 here to just do some tinkering with their comms before they head back into the battlefield.
Yeah, Newt Silver looking particularly strong at the moment. Got that early Gwen at level 8, which means 8 Soul Fighter, so potentially gonna get that prismatic Soul Fighter, and pretty early in the game as well, potentially. If she gets that 8 Soul Fighter, the game is hers undoubtedly, unless someone somehow manages to get a 3-star 5 cost.
Definitely, those bonus points are going to start to become all the more crucial as we get towards the sharp end of the season here. We've now got Newt Silver versus someone. There's so many bright colours, I can't tell who the other player is, but Newt Silver is on the attack here. That much is true. And the picks left, right and centre for Newt Silver beginning to just overwhelm the other team, and there's nothing they can do. Powerless to resist. Jack already out of the game here. And another win. 13 in a row for Newt Silver. Now 39 points clear of Coco Slayer in 2nd place. 3rd for Jai. Retro in 4th. Steph in 5th. Patat stays alive on 15 points in 6th. And as we mentioned, Jack and Pastelova all both eliminated from game 2.
Yeah, I believe Newt Silver was against a Retro, I might be wrong. But yeah, she was fighting a clone there due to there being an odd number of people. But yeah, Jack the bot, Jack Elbot, Jackalbot, out of the competition, although he wasn't even in it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Coco Slayer versus Newt Silver. This is 1st versus 2nd. It's been massive for Coco Slayer if they're able to snap Newt Silver's win streak here. 13 wins in a row for Newt Silver, but domination from Newt Silver. 14 wins in a row. This has to be one of, if not the longest win streak we've seen in a game all season so far. They've now got over double the next player's health here. 94 for Newt Silver with just 1 loss all game. Coco Slayer on 40 points. Retro on 38. Jai 32. Patat on 15. Steph on just 9. So a double top 4 might be a little bit more difficult now for Steph on just 9 points. Can't really afford another loss. We're going to head back into the battlefield in 3, 2, and 1. And out of the portal comes Coco Slayer, who is in 2nd place. 2nd versus 6th there. Coco Slayer in the red, Steph in the green. As we're seeing Coco Slayer's backline start to really try to do some damage, certainly more so than Steph. Steph a lot more frontline oriented. We'll see who prevails, as a lot of Coco Slayer's units are down to very low health. We'll see if the healing can come through. It certainly does. And Steph is going to be eliminated from the game. 6th place for Steph as Coco Slayer does get that win over Steph. Back into the carousel, Newt Silver, 15 straight wins so far. Absolutely mind-boggling from Newt Silver in game number 2. Untouchable at the minute. Coco Slayer in 2nd place. Retro in 3rd on 38 points. Jai on 16 points in 4th place, pardon me. Patat just hanging on 4 points in last place.
Yeah, this appears to be going pretty quickly. Newt Silver storming as per usual with that 8 Soul Fighter. Again, probably very close to being prismatic at this point. I'd say she's probably like 5-6 wins in at the moment on that. If not, you know, still probably around the halfway mark. But yeah, unfortunately, Patat very close to that 5th place at the moment on 4 health. But yeah.
As we now see, I think this is going to be Patat versus, might be a clone here. We've got Jai versus Coco Slayer on the cards. This is 4th versus 2nd here, as Coco Slayer, again, looking particularly strong. We'll see if Jai can get the picks, but it's Coco Slayer's backline just beginning to pepper Jai's frontline, but Jai's frontline does have just so much more damage. Does get the win over Coco Slayer. Patat is eliminated. Newt Silver, 16 wins in a row, does beat Retro. Snaps that particular win streak. So Patat in just 5th place. Jai does hold on in 4th place on 16 points. Retro on 26. Coco Slayer on 28. Newt Silver on 94 points. Still just winning 16 wins in a row. Pardon me, I must have missed one along the way. Absolutely ridiculous from Newt Silver.
Yeah, like quite literally, I can't think of the word. Astounding, outstanding. I don't know. It's new words. But yeah, a very strong game indeed. Like you mentioned earlier, 4 times the amount of health, 3 times the amount of health.
Yeah, over triple.
As the 2nd person. But yeah, like a very close game for the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. But Newt Silver just storming ahead.
And again, Newt Silver's frontline is just tearing everyone else to pieces. Wasn't even close for Coco Slayer there. 17 wins in a row. Has to be the longest win streak we have seen in a game thus far. Jai does get the win over Retro as well. Move Giant to 2nd place here. But Newt Silver now has over 5 times the points of any other player in this game.
Now that's crazy. That is crazy. What can you say?
There's no superlative to possibly
like
describe that. It's pure domination, unlike anything we have seen. We know Newt Silver is almost misses consistency.
Yeah.
Always podiums at the very least. Obviously,
Yeah.
has got 4 wins now, which is the most of anyone. And that's what's the streak ahead so much. When the likes of Jaya, they can win on any night, but sometimes they do fall by the wayside. It's Newt Silver that always picks up the pieces. But this is not something we've really seen from Newt Silver. I mean, 17 straight wins is ridiculous.
Yeah, again, a very strong game indeed. And like, not that she needs it, but that Soul Fighter is gonna turn into that prismatic, or she's gonna win
before it even gets to that point.
And ironically, like, after this round, it could become top 2. Like, the game could end in 2 more rounds,
which is insane.
Like, crazy, finishing on like 6-3. Like, that might be one of the quickest games we've ever had.
Definitely, and I think whoever comes out the portal, they've definitely got a fight on their hands as Newt Silver versus Jai. So it's Jai in the red, Newt Silver in the green. We'll see whose front line is stronger. We'll see if Jai has any chance of snapping Newt Silver's 17-game-long win streak, as Jai does actually look quite strong here. But it's going to be the win for Jai. The streak is snapped. 17 wins in a row does not become 18 for Newt Silver. Coco Slayer is eliminated by Retro, just 4th place for Coco Slayer. However, Jai and Retro still have an absolute mountain to climb. Newt Silver still 69 points ahead of Jai, who is just 1 point ahead of Retro, 16 and 15 respectively. 17 wins in a row. Possibly, I would bet, the longest streak in series history
Unless
so far.
someone wins right now, this is Newt Silver's game. They're both against Newt Silver. Jai is against a clone of Newt Silver. Like,
It's going to be huge.
this could be like taking out 2 people at once. That's crazy.
The game could be over right now if Newt Silver is able to take down both Retro and Jai. Obviously, Jai just beat Newt Silver. Retro, no slouch by any stretch of the imagination. That mighty mech composition coming in clutch. We'll see if he can get it done. He can! Retro beats Newt Silver as well as Jai also beating Newt Silver. That takes a big chunk out of Newt Silver's health here. 14 points down, 55 points now the gap. And while Newt Silver still remains in control, her grip on the game just loosens a little bit.
Yeah, Retro hit 1 away from that 3-star rise. So an additional, what, 2 points there? Crazy.
Potentially additional point per unit. So it will be an additional point if Retro can get that 3-star rise. And if you remember back to the beginning of the stream where we mentioned how close the fight for second is, a fight which Retro is very much embroiled in, that could be crucial, just that 1 point in turning the tides of the points battle here. But we are going to head back into the battlefield here. I think Retro might be coming up against a clone.
Yeah, I believe this is the clone of Jai at the moment. So Jai is up against Newt Silver.
Yes,
Again.
See if we can get it done. So this is Jai's clone in the red, Retro in the green. Looks like a big numbers advantage for Retro. But Jai does get that one last pick. He's now going to start trying to tear through Retro's backline. It's a 1v1. Retro just about gets it done. And Newt Silver, I think that was Newt Silver's clone again, actually, because she lost another 14 points back to the carousel. First place is Newt Silver on 57 points. Second place with a fiery hot win streak now is Jai on 16 points. Retro on 15.
Yeah, we're going back to one of those like rock, paper, scissors games here. Jai beats Newt Silver, Retro beats Jai, but Newt Silver beats Retro. Like, crazy.
Definitely. It's almost going to become luck of the draws who gets who in the next fight, but regardless, they've got just under 30 seconds. Jai reaches level 9. They've got just under 30 seconds to go back to the drawing board and just see what they can do to try and break that monotony and see who can make themselves the strongest out of all three of them, try and pick off the pair of them. But Newt Silver does have that cushion and, of course, that prismatic soul fighter trait, which, of course, the longer this goes on, is more likely to come through. And that's going to be a big 3 points for Newt Silver in the championship. Is also just going to make her that much stronger in this game.
Yeah, I fear she just needs one more win, and then she'll get that 3-star, not that 3-star, that prismatic soul fighter. So hopefully she gets that.
And we are seeing Retro versus Jai, second versus third. So Newt Silver is coming up against a clone of one of these two, and Jai with a massive win over Retro. Gonna get it done against Retro, and Retro is eliminated. Third place for Retro. Second place is the minimum that Jai will get out of this, but Jai really needs to beat Newt Silver just to make any inroads on the monumental points lead that Newt Silver has in the standings right now. And as you can see, that prismatic soul fighter has come through for Newt Silver with that win over whichever clone she was facing. So that is a big 3 points for Newt Silver.
Yeah, if people were struggling before, there's no struggle anymore. It's peaceful, swift death.
Yeah.
This
GG.
8 soul fighter, like, there is no comparison. They can't compete when they can't compare. Unfortunately, Jai with the 3-cost rerolls just won't be enough to get this 8 soul fighter.
Week 6 has been utter dominance for Newt Silver, and the way she is picking off Jai unit by unit, you'd have to say this is almost a certain victory for Newt Silver. And there it is, 2 wins, sweeps the week, 5 wins on the season. Newt Silver, absolute domination in week number 6. Now just that much further with a big 3-point bonus with that prismatic soul fighter. 16 points purely off wins. That's 19 points in just 1 week for Newt Silver. Absolute domination. 17 wins in a row as well at 1 point. untouchable all game, really.
Yeah, absolutely insane. Again, that prismatic augment, that prismatic trait with that soul fighter as well, like absolutely crazy. Absolute storming victory as well. We've got very close at the end for Retro and Jai, but unfortunately just unable to hold on.
Definitely, and this will definitely, it will shake up the points in the midfield, but I think there is one clear contender setting off into the distance when everyone else fell by the wayside, particularly in game one. It was Newt Silver that picked up the pieces, and despite their best efforts in game number two, it was Newt Silver again, 17 in a row, got that Prismatic Soul Fighter trait, got that comp pretty much as good as I think anyone has managed to get any comp so far at all this season so far. You'd have to say this is Newt Silver's series, Newt Silver's championship to lose at the minute. Obviously, we're going to go back and do some maths behind the scenes, but from this week, what would you say your highlight would be, George?
Definitely that prismatic soul fighter.
Pretty much the only choice, isn't it?
I was gonna say that's insane. Okay, like Jai was like coming through, but then that soul fighter just got rid of him. Just got rid of him. Like
there was a point where Jai beat Newt Silver 2 or 3 times in a row. Looked like Jai might have something for her, but got that prismatic trait, and it's like a light switched. And completely tore Jai to pieces. I don't think there's anything Jai could have possibly done. And we know how good Jai is. Like we know how good he can build a team, how he can get them set up. But a prismatic trait can just do so much. And of course it was a soul fighter trait, so that's an additional point. It's not just any prismatic trait. So that's massive for Newt Silver. But obviously we're going to go back and do some little B math behind the scenes just to see how far ahead Newt Silver is now in the championship. In the meantime, you can keep up with our socials on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, and on TikTok to see all things Hive in between these streams on twitch.tv/Hive Esports games from all the production crew, from myself and from George. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good night and goodbye.
Bye.